Hi everyone. This is a little late. I actually missed the assignment on the web on Titanium. Um, so hopefully you guys will get a chance to see this. And also I'm in the middle of moving, so there's so many things going on. But a lot of you already know about my project, but in case you don't know, um, I plan to put together an app, mobile app for expatriates living in Japan. And the reason I chose this topic, and if you saw the videos I made for MSIDT 540, or 545, I should say, uh, in 1997 through 2000, I was a participant of the JET program. JET stands for Japan Exchange Teaching, where I taught at 5 public high schools in Japan. And at the time, I didn't know anything about the country. I didn't speak the language. I didn't read Japanese. I didn't know what their cuisine was like. All I knew was, sushi from the restaurants here in California. So when I got there, I was pretty lost. And what made it even harder was that I was a type 2 diabetic. At the time, we didn't have the internet was still very young, and I didn't have a computer for a long time, and so information was hard to get, and the JET program provided very little for diabetics. It might have changed since then. That's part of the research I'm going to have to do, is to find out what information is available to JET diabetics now. But the three things I want to answer or help the users in using the app are: number one, how do you communicate? How do you tell someone, well, I'm diabetic? When you go to restaurants, you have to tell them I'm diabetic to see if certain foods contain a lot of sugar. Also, another part is, well, what is the food like? Like how much, what is the glycemic index for tofu or certain foods that we're not accustomed to in our American diet? They drink a lot of sake. How much? What is sake as far as the sugar intake? So that's the two top things: is how to communicate, how to read the word diabetic when you're shopping and you're looking at labels in the store. How do you know whether it says sugar and diabetes? So that's something I need to include. So communication, knowing the diet, having some kind of database to look up on your mobile app to see, well, edamame, what's the glycemic index of edamame, and so forth. And the final part, much larger part, which will probably take a while to develop, is how to maneuver through the healthcare system, their national healthcare system, how to apply for a medical card, how to find hospitals or doctors in your area. Does that hospital or doctor speak English? If not, what are do they provide an interpreter, or do you have to bring one yourself? Things like that. It's going to start out basic, and it's going to be geared towards for JET participants, particularly American JETs, because the JET program is something like 65 countries now that participate. But I'm going to focus on American JETs to begin with, because I do hope to maybe market this to the JET program once it's complete. But so it's going to start out small. Eventually, I would like this to cover a lot of expats living in Japan, and I have to focus on Japan rather than just traveling with diabetes, because that's too broad. With Japan, I could at least concentrate on their writing and their language and their cuisine and their national healthcare system. So who knows, maybe 20 years from now I can have a lot of apps that cover a lot of the world. but that's my immediate goal, is a small app for American Jets that cover those three questions or those areas of diabetic concern. So that's it. Okay, thank you. Sorry it's late.